A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody on the DATV Net, the 2nd of February 2025, first month down already. We wish to welcome everybody on frequency today. We also wish to welcome all the YouTube viewers on frequency, and I think it's going to be an interesting net, as it normally is on a Sunday at this time. We also want to express our gratitude to the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to have our satellite on their satellite together with it. Also AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and the British Amateur Television Club. Today on frequency we have the following. We have ZS1 Mike Leon to follow. Hello Leon. And then to Ed in Brazil. Leon, by the way, is in a place called Worcester, just north of Cape Town, about an hour's drive from Cape Town. And then you've got Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November in Brazil, followed by Phil, Mike 0 Papa India Tango, with a full fiber to the house. That sounds exciting, Phil. I hope it's going to be good. I know it made a big difference when I got fiber in this place, and I'm not sorry that I ever did it. Then to Wales, GW7BZY Peter. Then to Holland, or the Netherlands, to Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray. And then to the UK, Martin, G8KOE. And then to the Netherlands again, Paul, Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa. And Paul, we just wish to express our sincere condolences to you and your family on the sad loss of your father a couple of weeks ago. It must have been a very stressful time for you, and we certainly hope his soul rests in peace. Okay, it's sad, always sad when one loses a person, no matter what age. It's always too soon. I just want to quickly show you before I bring Leon on. I had a bit of an issue. If I can get this. With my computer, so I haven't done the final adjustment yet, but I did put this in. I made a piece of wood, put a little adapter on, plastic PVC adapter onto it, and then just cable tied it to the big aircon. It's a 25,000 BTU aircon that I have in the shack stroke living room, which is below me. A floor below, so it needs to cool down a rather large area. Anyway, so I got a bit of this flexible hose. I can tell you the spring wire they use in this thing is unbelievably strong. I battled with a big side cutter to cut it, but anyway, I got it set, made another wooden thing, just sprayed it black, and coupled it direct onto a fan that's also coupled into the little water radiator inside the computer. So we did that, and oh man, it's made a massive difference. I must say, at the moment the temperature is 50, 55. It's now just gone up a little bit, so I'm quite happy with that. And anyway, we'll see how it goes. That's just a makeshift. I'm going to put a proper water. I actually ordered the quick connectors last week, so when they come and we have a bit of time at the work, I'll put a proper chiller out. The chiller I use for the linear amp, which is at the moment only running at 21 degrees, 21 C, and it'll stay there 21.9 up to maybe 22. So that's the things I did there, Leon, and then downloaded the latest software for NVIDIA. Not that I'm using the NVIDIA card at all, but I thought I'll just get that sorted. And yeah, so that's been my little bit of amateur radio this week. I've been exceptionally busy at the salt mine, of course, and nothing we can do about that. Right, Leon, will you kindly take the microphone? ZS1 Mexico from ZS6YI.
Okay, thanks Gary. ZS6 Yankee India and the group. ZS1 Mike saying good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all those watchers and listeners and streamers. Yes, what can I tell you? Oh, I've been very busy at work and also here at home. I spent the whole of yesterday at the airfield fitting a anti-collision strobe on a self-launching glider. It's those gliders with a little engine that comes up and you launch and you tuck it away and then it's a normal glider. They have this new thing, you connect it to the flam. Now if you're not familiar with gliders you won't know what flam is. Flam is a type of very tiny transponder thing which is only used by gliders, and it warns him when there's another glider just around the corner or something, you know, in his vicinity. It makes a noise and it's got little arrows on a small display, is this way or is that way or so. But now this thing is slaved onto the flam so that when there's a glider close to you, this thing starts firing, but it's very bright, a bright orange color that it strobes dead ahead of you. So as the canopy comes down, right in the last little bit there, you stick this thing with its cables and its little control box. And of course, Martin will love this. If you want to change anything in this, you bring your laptop, you sit with a laptop in this thing. It's got a built-in little antenna, and you, with Bluetooth or something, you can set up this thing or download new firmware or whatever you want to do. But anyway, working on gliders is extremely difficult because they've got a lot of electronics on them, but it's all squashed into a small package, small area between your legs. So you've got to take off covers and things, and to find a decent earth on an all composite aircraft is also not so easy. But anyway, we managed to get it in, and yes, the owner is quite happy. So that was the one thing. The other thing is I've been playing with GPS for the work, but I do it here at home. To be able to have a small module that you can stick onto anything, it must transmit in S-band and it must have onboard GPS, so that wherever this thing is, we can track it with the telemetry antennas and receive the data of where this thing is, the lat, long and height, and then distribute it all through the range. They've got what they call a slaving system to all instruments, but that's only if you are tracking. They can read your data, your elevation and azimuth of your antenna. But if you have a GPS on the target and you're getting the first-hand data from that, it's so much better. So it's working extremely well, except one thing. I cannot have the GPS antenna too close to the transmitter. I was hoping to have it all in one box. But no, the transmitter, although the frequency is quite far apart, I'm transmitting on 2370 megs, and the GPS is on 1.575 megs, or gigs, 1.575 gigs, yeah. So it's 1575 megs. So it's relatively far apart, but still, if you bring it very close, it desensitizes the GPS. You can see how it's losing satellites. And if you have it like inside the box, it just never locks on. So that's a pity. You do get some models with the extra SAW filter between the antenna and the receiver, but they're obviously much more expensive. But anyway, I bought a batch of much newer GPSs, and they perform much better. They're quicker. They receive all the other things, the Russian system and the Bedu system, and I don't know what there's a whole lot of them, not just GPS. And this thing, this morning I was receiving 12 satellites and I had an accuracy of 0.92 meters. So that's pretty good. And with that one, I can get this close from the transmitting antenna. If I come closer, I start losing satellites. But if I have the GPS antenna, well, actually the whole engine, because the GPS engine and the antenna, I've soldered them together as a single package. Then you only have 3 wires going from there to the transmitter and the modem. So I can have it about 300. No, it's less. It's 10 inches. If they're 10 inches apart, fine. But I want them in a tiny box a whole lot. So I'm still working on that. But we have flown it on a kite a couple of weeks ago with the GPS about a meter away. That was the old GPS, the Lea 4, which is a much older generation, and that worked extremely well. So with this new one, it'll just work better, and they can be closer together. It doesn't have to be a meter apart. It can only be 10 inches apart, and it's happy. Anyway, so that's what has been keeping me busy. And it's still keeping me busy, and I won't stop until I've got the whole lot in one small box. It's self-contained with lithium-ion batteries, everything, so, and it'll last for over 4 hours, 4.5 hours on one charge, so that's more than enough for us. Anyway, playing around. Right, Ed, I see you are next. Papa Yellow 2, Romeo November, for the group from ZS1 Mike, and we're standing by for the cartoon.
Computer engineer. Mechanical engineer. Civil engineer. Electrical engineer.
Yeah, okay, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Zulu Sierra 1 Mike. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Yeah, hi Gary, Leon, Phil, Peter, Benno, Martin, and Paul. Gary, yeah, interestingly, you made some cooling system for your computer. I did the same here for mine. But actually, I just put some fans on the back to exhaust the hot air. My problem is that my computer is just in front of me here, so I cannot do too much because of the noise. Very irritating. So I used 3 24-volt fans that I'm connected them to, I think, 16 volts. So they are running, they are exhausting the hot air and not making too much noise. There's some noise, but acceptable. Leon, very interesting your system, collision detect. Maybe you can talk to the guys in the US because they need that desperately. Yeah, unfortunately, they got some accidents. Very, very sad. And about the GPS losing sensitivity, well, maybe you said that you're transmitting on 237 megahertz, so maybe some harmonic. I think it's going to be 6th or 7th harmonic is going to fall into 1.5 gigahertz. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Even if the harmonic is very weak, but it can cause problems with the GPS signal reception. What I'm doing here this week, I'm trying to play with ports now. I got some help from Benno, as usual. Thank you, Benno. It's working. It's working fine. I just would like to know if I'm still learning about this ports down stuff. I just would like to know if it's possible to, yeah, the camera fall down. If it's possible to scan the band, because I have the presets frequencies here, but actually I need to go to the internet and see where in the spectrum there are some signal. I don't know how to do that. The other thing that I was very interested would be Portsdown, not Portsdown, Langston. Langston, I can make it run. I have a Pluto connected. It seems it runs, but when it gets to the screen, if it gets there, interesting, it's not getting to the screen. I don't know why. Yeah, now it's going. It took some time. It will not accept my touch commands. I don't know. I know that. Yeah, you see. So let's press set beacon. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's very sad, very, very sad, because I have a dream since I was kid to run Langston, but very difficult. Well, maybe that's not the original Raspberry Pi LCD screen. Maybe that's the reason, which is very unfortunate, because to get those official, original Raspberry Pi screens down here in this country is almost impossible. You have to import it from the US or from somewhere in Europe. Very complicated to get this original Raspberry Pi screen. So it would be great if this could work on the regular HDMI screen. It would be great. But it seems it doesn't work. Yep. Still dreaming about it. All right, guys. I think that's it from my side. It's enough. So get into Phil. Mike 0, Papa India Tango. Let's hope everything working there with the fiber. Phil, back to you. Mike 0, Papa India Tango from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Oops. What's that on the floor? Afternoon, guys, or morning, evening, wherever you are. Yeah, Ed, I did like the cartoon, a bit of video. I thought that was brilliant. I knew what was coming, but even so, it was still, yeah, good. I enjoyed that. Yeah, Gary, your CPU makes me wonder what on earth you're running on your machine to cause all that heat. Yeah, maybe it's the antivirus in there doing its thing. I know it takes its toll on Microsoft stuff. But yeah, that's yeah, I wouldn't be happy with my CPU running like that. I would tend to go in and start shutting things down, but you can't necessarily do that on Windows stuff. But there it is. Anyhow, what have I been doing? Well, the big event during the week is that I've gone over to full fibre. I had copper before, which was supplied by British Telecom, which is the main service provider in the UK. And because we're going to lose copper connections throughout the UK, it means that the old type of telephones won't work. It's going to be all voice over IP. And I can't see any reason to pay for a voice over IP service as an extra when I've already got internet connections. I'll do it myself, but anyhow. So I don't have a what's called a PSTN phone anymore. I'm just going to have to rely on mobile. But I never used my old phone anyhow. I very rarely used it, so what was the point? Anyhow, the installation of the fibre, yeah, young guy who came, he'd only been doing the job for about 2 weeks, but yeah, absolutely brilliant. There was no real mess. Everything went smoothly. Yeah, I can't really say any more than that. It went without a hitch. I've got the cheapest package going, which basically means that my internet connection is about 100 megs. But when I've done some speed tests, it was 155, so I'm not complaining at that. I don't really need a great deal of bandwidth. The only time I use a lot of bandwidth over the internet is when I have to transfer files, and that's not that often, but funny enough I had to do it today, and it was quite good because it was at one point it was running at 24 megs, which I thought was quite good. But yeah, the fibre went okay. What I found was quite interesting, because it's an Ethernet service, and I expected a pair of fibres, but it's not. It's a single core fibre that comes into the premises, and then there's a media converter to take it into 100, well, it's actually a gig. It will go a gig over copper as Ethernet. But yeah, it works fine. Absolutely no problems at all with the fibre. What I did have a massive problem with was this, which is the router that is supplied by the service provider. I do one or two strange things on my network here. I run what's called an ad blocker. It's effectively a DHCP server, but I could not configure the service provider's router with a DNS server other than the one that was designated on the service provider's router. There was no parameter on there to specify my internal one. So that wasn't particularly good. It was also running internally IP4 and IP6. Well, I don't run IP6 internally. I can't see any reason or added value to run it other than it's a lot more complicated. So I turned it off. I turned off IP6 on the router. The LAN connections would work, but what wouldn't work was wireless. Wireless stopped totally when I killed IP6. No reason for that to happen, but that is what happened on that router. So I have now got my own router. I had to buy one because my original one wouldn't work on Ethernet supplied by the service provider, so I had to buy one. I bought that and I configured everything on it. I had no real problems at all. It's running DHCP, and it's also got static addresses as well. It's running, it's configured for my internal DNS, and it works fine. There's no IP6 running on it on my network, and it works absolutely fine. And of course, it's totally in my control, and the service provider can't get access to it. Peter's asked about port forwarding. I haven't actually done it. I saw the parameter there to do it. I don't expect it to be a problem. I saw how, I saw the configuration part to do it, so I expect port forwarding will work. That is probably one of my future jobs, is to set up port forwarding again. As I said, yeah, it didn't look like it was going to be a problem, but you never know. And the other thing that I need to do is my laptop is running a very old version of Linux, and I can't update it anymore. And the browser that's on it, Firefox, is running. It's running slow. It needs to be updated, but I can't do it because the operating system is too old. So the job is to put a new operating system on it, but I've got a lot of files, so I spent a bit of time this morning transferring all my data, not programs but data, out onto my little server that I've got over there, and that went smoothly. It didn't take that long. There's a lot of data, but it didn't take long. So that's all copied over there, so next week I shall go in and rebuild my laptop and then transfer all the files, all the data back onto it that's residing on my server. So that's what I've been doing. So it's the fibre was totally successful. Had no real problems on it at all whatsoever. The guy was great, the installation was great, and it works, which is the main thing. So yeah, so that was good. So that's enough from me, I think. I don't want to hear any more about my fibre. Who we got next? Oh, Peter. Okay, so I hope you're getting ready, Peter, because I'm going to put up a test card, and then I shall kill the carrier, and it will be over to you. So let's find a nice test card. Shall I have a different one than what I normally have? Let's have a look. Let's have this.
Tyler, later stuff. Okay, GW7Bs in wireless. Oh, I've just gone out. Visit the mother-in-law. Hold on, where are we now? There we go. GW7BZY live in colour. With two microphones. That's the big story here. And another one on the camera with a windsock on it. Not that it's windy in here, it's just I haven't taken it off. What am I going to say? Yeah, I'm very interested in your full fibre there, Phil. I think full fibre is only a dream for me here in Wales. But because I am about 2 miles from the exchange, as there used to be, Llanunda. In the old days it was an exchange, now it's a box, a small one at that. Good pictures of everybody so far, Gary, etc. Yeah, I'm having a problem this side. I'm getting all sort of like grey outs. It seems to be that the VLC is the one that's the poor one, I think. I'm looking at my own picture, and one of them's frozen, one of them's still moving. So I think the receiver software is also sort of kind of crucial. Yeah, I like your video. It was very good. That I guess what might be happening, but that was really good. I like that. I've not liked a lot of your videos, but or cartoons, but that one definitely. And I've got no phone here either, Phil. But much to the consternation of the wife, she's not too happy. She likes to talk to her mother a lot on the phone, but since her mother's in the hospital now, or in the home, should I say, she doesn't have a phone. So that is less of a problem, because I've still got me cold. I've still got me mystery virus. But I'm not suffering too much, thankfully. What have I done? I've had, well, I came across something I've been wanting to do for quite a long time with Open Tune. I know it's not a big thing, but I haven't bothered working a quick tune on it. And then the wideband chat disappeared into a little box and it wouldn't expand. So the obvious thing is to reinstall it and then try again. But in the midst of this reinstalling, I found the files saying settings. So I thought, I'll have a little fish in there, and sure enough, there was settings for QuickTune. So I got the UDP port numbers, and one thing led to another. Now I've got the QuickTune, which is quite good, because quite often the the receiver would be on, but it would be in between channels of activity and be quiet, which isn't ideal, is it? Like to see what's going on. That's about all I've done this side. It's not a lot, is it? I'm still playing on DMR. I am on 870. That is the GW7BZY calling on all Wales 870. But although with it being FM, I think I will actually purchase one of them All-Star boxes and put that on the network somewhere. And that will be quite useful, I think, a duplex one. I take a fancy to. But anyway, what else? Apart from the stereo, which I am in mono, but I'm using both microphones. I don't know if Leon is still there, whether he likes it. I said there should be plenty of background noise. I've cut some of the bass off, but there's still quite a bit of background room noise. No, I think that's about it, really. I found my old Osmo Pocket. I bought an Osmo Pocket 3. I bought one for me Christmas and birthday, which is November is my birthday, and Christmas, of course, is the same time for everybody else. And I got an Osmo 3, and the wife was out in the garage with some of the furniture from her bedroom that we replaced, the old stuff. She opened the drawer, and where was my Osmo Pocket 1? In one of the drawers. So now I have two. Hey, you can't have too many Osmo Pockets, can you? What I'm going to do with these things, I'll probably take them on holiday with me, and that's probably the only time now that I tend to use it. But there we are. I'll probably have to do something when the weather gets better, if ever. This is GW7BZY, and handing it round to Martin. Oh, no. Sorry. Benno. Hello, Benno. I'll hold it to you, sir. From GW7BZY with a test card. Let's go for my test card. No, just a fade.
With lots of background because my audio is already on, and that's great because I just found out just before the net that some of my channels didn't work, and that must be one of the updates of Great Windows. But apparently I managed to get it working again. I had to select and unselect and select the monitor out on OBS for the channels. I need to remember that before I test all the channels, because I might have more problems. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for the net, Gary. Great, and Leon, nice struggles as always. Well, I can tell you a little bit about struggles this week, because mainly my week was with my new hobby All-Star, like I predicted before. Let's improve a little bit the signal strength. I think that's a little bit better. I have a little bit over. Again, I had, first of all, to comment on everyone. Leon, nice struggles, and I know you are getting to organize that. but the smaller the new electronics is, normally filtering is worse. So maybe change in the frequency going above, that would be ideal in respect of harmonics. Playing with ports down. I had my fair share of struggles there, but I managed to get it work eventually. I never loved it in before, because at home at your shack you can do so much simpler with the PC work. But just to show you how it should work, just to, well, not show off, but basically that's it. Well, it's way out of that's a little better. So 2 meters band, 70 cents, 23 whatever, or if you like 1.6, 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters set here. And yeah, this is one of the advised displays, 7-inch, with one of those DSI flat cables, and it just works. Yeah, if you go away from this, you have problems, and that's what you show. And that's the whole story about this whole ports down project. I mean, if you keep following what is advised, what made it work, where they made it work with, it works. If you go away from that because you can't get the tools, you can't get the parts, yeah, you have to figure out yourself your solutions, I'm afraid. But fun, it still works, and fortunately I got hold to the right displays. Well, a long time ago there was even a local junk sale where someone had I think 20 or 30 of these displays, and I immediately bought 4 or 5 of them, I believe. They are all gone by now. I still have about 3, but I already resold some, because people in my neighborhood wanted one. And yes, it's very expensive if you have to buy it new, but it works. That's just the only thing I can say about it. What else you should create is, for instance, if you go to 2 meters, which is interesting, is these buttons. Oh, sorry, different cam. I have this rotary encoder where you can see I can change the frequency with 2 buttons, which is the there is a Arduino behind here talking to the USB port, talking to this frequency. That's a strange signal. It's moving front and back. Well, it's not. It's transmitting. It shouldn't transmit, but at least you can see I can move around and play a little bit with it. And my port down is also controlling this via the GPIO ports. And by the way, while we are at it, can I do this quickly? I don't know. I didn't prepare this, but we were talking about right, which is just next to it, with this loose cable in front of it. Just put this one other way. No, I can't. That's all about a demonstration. No, I should do that the next over, but on my mobile phone, I have a mobile phone here which I just booted up because I dedicated it for this job, but it's booting at the moment, and if you look at that, it's booted up in the meantime. It's still booting up. It's not very fast, sorry for that. Let me first show you something else I did over the last week. Yesterday I got in my PCBs, and this morning I fitted one. So one of those PCBs fit where the ESP32 is nicely on, and it fits nicely onto my display. So now I have a nice setup, and obviously on this multi-plug I can connect all kind of stuff, and that's part of the meter which at the moment is loaded as software in there. So we are talking about this meter. So that looks pretty nice. Obviously it just shows garbage at the moment, but you get the idea. So that project also evolves. And what my main job was my new hobby, like I said. And that was All-Star. All-Star was working nice. I made some boards for that, which worked perfect. Then I got a different batch of CM199 modem chips of C-Media, and the C-Media chip was recognized, so it worked flawlessly. And then All-Star decided to update their software, and it didn't work again. And it took me, well, about 2 or 3 weeks to figure out what was wrong. And then last week I put in a software issue, and very fast I got a response. With eventually, after they understood I did all the normal things okay, they understood what the problem was, and they also had a fix for that. And I got solved that, and I solved that now, and I already written a small mock-up in my own drive. And while we were talking about it, they said so much other stuff, and they need to update the manual, and they don't have the time, and things like that. And I got invited to do that. Well, that's fun. It's fun to do assisting on those things, because I think those soft guys, and in the meantime I'm playing with my my mobile phone. So they invited me to help out, and I might do that. I need to figure out if it's available at all, because I'm obviously not native English. I can write a little bit. Well, it's not too bad, but then again, if I don't do it, who will? And I think we all should help to develop those kind of stuff, to get it as much as possible. If everyone helps a little bit, you get it perfect together. Well, again, my new hobby, but not. So again, there is a app on this, and I started, and it shows like this, which sounds very similar to a phone. And then I might, let me do a double screen. So this way. So if I now type in, for instance, menu, you see the menus coming there, and if I go up or down, I'm moving around. So this is working, and I can modify it perfectly. This is an app what Tom made, well, maybe 2 years ago, and it still works flawlessly. So add to control right. This is at the moment, I think, the most easiest to do just this. But obviously you need to be on the same network, and as my multi-rig is not on the same network as its own network, I actually used a second telephone to just be able to control it and still use my first telephone to have well, this is just an old telephone, it's doing just this work. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to show for now. Let's see if I don't have commands. I also have fiber here, and I am not that convinced it's perfect, but that's also always to the supplier. First of all, I didn't get a dedicated, well, a dynamic IP address. I get a CGNet address, which made it impossible to use a direct port forwarding, which didn't work at all. So that was a big issue. And the second thing I had, occasionally it just dies on me, and then it works flawlessly, and if you then suddenly it doesn't work again anymore. And then, well, streaming is sometimes great, most of the times it's great, and sometimes it just locks up, especially on outside streams, and you never know, is it your app, is it your network, is it the stream server service at all. Especially Formula 1, which is everything always streamed here, is well, normally I had to restart the app 2 or 3 times during one Formula 1 race. So yes, I'm happy, and no, it isn't perfect. Or yes, it isn't perfect. Microphone on. Passing it on to my friend Martin, the virus of All-Star from PA3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Take it away, Martin. I have a test card for you, and the frequency is all yours from PA3 Fox Bravo X-Ray.
From G8KV, hopefully, maybe, might be. Let's see. Yeah, I was hoping to get John JTT, whose neighbours have come in and nicked all his bandwidth at the moment. Let's mute that. So I've been having all sorts of problems. DATV Red, I couldn't get it to work. I had to run on an earlier version that I had. The computer's been losing the mouse option. I didn't have the sound. I luckily got it back. I was praying that Benno was going to carry on talking, but it's quite crazy because just before the light's flashing again, we will keep an eye on the stream. If John does make it in, he'd have something more sensible to talk about than what I have. I don't know what's going on the computer, but every so often it just seems to want to go to sleep and stop. It's been okay all week. It's sort of a Sunday sort of blues, but I'm running a very early version of DATV Red at the moment. It's just one that was on the drive, and things are in slightly different places, but I think it's working. Yeah, DMR, I will just mention it. That's on DMR. It's monitoring chat 3. But I doubt whether you can get on chat 3 I can, because I've got my own little hotspot there. No manage here, Martin. No image here, Martin. Oh, no image. Okay. What have I... Oh, yes, there wouldn't be no image because I've gone over to seeing that one. Oh, dear. What's... Camera. Let's go back to the camera. Yeah. I'm confusing myself totally. I'm looking at the wrong screens. Why have I got no image going out there? Not locked. No video.
I saw no audio on Martin, and no video rather. We had audio but no video, Martin. So maybe you can restart, and in the meantime we just go down the list, and we send it to you, Paul, and then you can send it back to Martin, Paul, and then Martin can send it up to me. Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa, if you don't mind, from ZA6YI.
Audio test. Audio test. That seems to work. That's good. Okay, I saw that Martin came back on the air, so we doubled for some time. But Martin, you will get the camera back after my over. So. Yeah, February 2nd. Last time you saw me was in December last year, so Happy New Year, I would say. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's good to see you all back again, and still congratulations on your birthday, Gary. And thanks for hosting, as usual. Yeah, looking at the weather here in the Netherlands at the moment, it's really sunny outside. We started in the morning, in the early morning, with -3 here near the North Sea coast. And the temperature did rise to 7 degrees at the moment. So actually it's wonderful weather. Yeah, there is not that much amateur news. The reason is quite clear. You heard it already from Gary. My father passed away. That's now about 2 weeks ago. At the age of 91 years. He suffered from sudden leukemia. Yeah, that well, illness went really fast. Yeah, he passed away, and then of course, yeah, a stressful 1.5 week started. So there was no time left for anything whatsoever. Well, the good news is that my father was bright until the end. That's good. And perhaps you do not know, but he even watched the net, not to see you, but to see me. Yeah, that was wonderful. Okay. What could I mention? Well, first of all, I own an outdoor power amplifier for the narrowband transponder, yeah, quite suddenly I noticed a short circuit on the power supply, and I thought, that is completely wrong. And since last week it already became nice weather, I thought let's take the enclosure inside and have a look in it. Well, I can tell you that after 3 years, although the enclosure is completely watertight, I give half a dB more output power. That's more convenient for some people, I think. Okay. I had grown a beautiful white cauliflower inside the watertight cabinet. It's made from aluminium. I bought it at that time in Germany, especially for this purpose. But nevertheless, it was complete oxidized. I thought that the integrated circuit in the power supply had failed, but actually I learned that that was not the case. There is also a bucket converter. Perhaps I'd better show the device because it's still open. Hope you can see it. I'm watching myself. This was built 3 years ago. What you see on the top, that is the heatsink with a fan. And in the middle there is the power amplifier delivering about 50 decibels of gain. An input connector and an output connector, of course. And here you see the bucket converter. Where's my finger? Yeah, here. Here you see the bucket converter. Well, actually, it proved to be the bucket converter, which is there to provide the voltage for the bias current circuit. So actually what happened, that is that due to the fact that the bucket converter failed, the bias current was far too high. And as a result of that, the current also in the power amplifier was far too high. But luckily, I'm using a current limiter in the power supply, so the power amplifier is still alive. Well, as what you saw, I did repair it. I will mount it outside again next week, and then it will be up and running again. What else did I do? Before my father passed away, I already mentioned that I had bought this so-called zinc or Libre SDR. Well, I can report that it is working quite nice for narrowband, but I also learned that the firmware package that is available for the Zinc SDR is a rather special firmware package. Initially I thought, well, the differences must be little, but that is wrong. I did quite some investigation, and I simply learned that the amount of time that needs to be invested to do it yourself, that is far too much. So I can use it at the moment for the Zinc for narrowband together with SDR console. That's great, but I cannot use it yet for DATV. I learned that F5 OEO is developing software, and maybe that software can also be used for the Zinc SDR at that time. Let's see. What else? Oh yeah, I built the Winter Hill, and that's of course a BATC development of about let's say 3 years ago. Really, I was surprised. It's a wonderful receiver, and it is so simple also to do remote viewing with a remote PC on the local area network, so really great. Yeah, and I also ordered the printed circuit board. Benno, thank you very much. As what you can see, I did receive them. These are the printed circuit boards which are required to provide the LNB with its specific voltages. So I will build that later. But again, the Winter Hill receiver is a wonderful receiver. That's what I can say. What else? Oh yeah, next week it's gonna be my birthday on Sunday, so it might be that it's gonna be a social event here at home. So if I'm not available on the net, then you already know what the reason is. And then, yeah, I have a question. Is there any news? Is there a new status on the development of SDR television by Simon? It's a development that I'm monitoring because Simon makes wonderful software. And once it is available, I really would like to test it. Yeah, what else? Yeah, perhaps some remarks. To things that were brought by the others. Gary, wonderful cooling that you made on your personal computer connected to the airco. Leon talking about the gliders and yeah, the new integrated circuits for GPS. Indeed, they are better. Huh? That's also my experience. And Ed, the ports down, wonderful that you built it, but I cannot comment on the display and the Langstone. Phil, talking about fiber, I'm still waiting for it. Well, the PSTN, yeah, that is something from the past. And that's what you notice, Phil. We have mobile phones for, well, already a long time. And they perform much better than the PSTN. The audio quality is also much better. Yeah, one of the things regarding fiber, that's the bandwidth for the uplink. It's really an advantage to have more bandwidth there. Okay, yeah, you were talking about ad blocking. Did you think about the p-hole software development? You can use a Raspberry Pi also to block ads, and that's another way to do exactly the same as what you did on your former router. Okay. Yeah, Peter, you were talking about QuickTune settings and DMR. Benno, about Windows Update. Oh yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm always fighting it or suffering it. It's yeah, how you want to call it. As what you notice. I'm also not a native speaker in the English language. Wonderful homemade SWR meter that you did show, and also the remote control with your mobile phone. And Martin, I was unable to receive you. That means that the screen got frozen completely at D1.5. What happened, I do not know, but I had audio, but I had no video. That's it for the moment. As proposed by Gary, I hand over to Martin again. Let's see whether we can see you and whether we can hear you. And otherwise, yeah, Gary will take it up again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Right, well, I can see me. Can I hear me? That's the question. And I think I can hear me. That's a start. Thank you very much there. Let's mute that. Benno. Everything's gone wrong this evening, or this afternoon, or whatever it is. Prior to wanting to get the system tested out, the whole thing computer locked up. I thought, well, in fact, it hasn't done it for ages, but the mouse stops everything, and I then rebooted, and then DATV wouldn't run, which I've had before, and so I installed, I had another version of DATV, read an early version that was sitting on the drive, so I ran that and got that working, but I hadn't realised it was in H.266. It's an early version where things are in slightly different places. it just, yeah, it's been a nightmare. Then I found I didn't have audio on the microphone, so I tried to unplug that on the Yeti and plug it back in again, and we got there. I was hoping to stream John G7JTT, which was all ready to demo the LF side of things, and he was putting a reasonable signal into the SRT repeater that I'm playing with. So I was going to put him through because he doesn't have the facilities until he moves of getting direct in, but he will do. And I think his neighbours turned on, we suspect a games console of some sort, which nicked all the bandwidth that he needed. His internet has been absolutely diabolical until recently, which I think they'd replaced a long line of cable, which had improved things, but obviously not enough. Hopefully, I think it's the 28th of this month, or towards the end of this month anyway, if all things going well, his move is planned, and he can't wait. Whatever they switched on obliterated all the LF bands, so he wouldn't have been able to have demoed it, even if he could get in, which is a shame. I've been monitoring the LF side of things, which with help from John and others, I have it running on the laptop, which is there, and at the moment is receiving G4 SDG, his little transmissions that he puts out, and I managed to decode them. So that's my extent at the moment, plus a few others. There's Russians that come through during the night, and I think it was a couple of Belgians or something, and one in the middle of the Atlantic, which apparently was a spoof thing. So I can't claim that one, which is a shame. And Benno, with regards to All-Star, for those that are running All-Star, etc., do read the forum. The kernel that has been updated causes all sorts of problems. So there is a method of stopping any update from happening. It means you can still do the update to the what they actually produce software wise, but it'll stop the kernel from being updated and causing a sound problem. Whether I haven't looked at it recently, whether they've come up with any other solutions, but and I think there is a script to, if you have updated, to enable you to roll back to a known working version. I'm told there's an update, so from G6HFS, so that's good. I haven't had a chance to look at that sort of thing. There's been all sorts of that was HFS on the All-Star Talkback channel, so that's worked out well. I'm amazed I'm keeping going. It's an absolute mess this end, and I've still got the B left over from Ed. And I did like the cartoon, or the I thought that was great. In fact, I liked that one last week particularly. I still think that's funny, but possibly didn't appeal to everybody. But it was the old style of humour, I think, not to be taken too seriously. So I think I'd better exit from here. And I didn't mention, when nobody could hear me, that's on DMR, which is on chat 3 rather, because I have my own hotspot down here, so I can select chat 3, or I can select the cooling channel or whatever. I installed that specifically, so if you're able to come on chat 3, it'll access that one there. But I don't intend to have DMR for very much longer. It's only I had a Raspberry Pi sitting doing nothing. So I covered it up to my MMDVM hotspot. Right, that's a lot of waffle. Apologies that nothing's actually gone well, but I'm still amazed that it's stable at the moment. Whether it's, I don't know quite what the problem is. why. But all I know is when things do lock up, they lock up big time. And I need to chase and find out what's happened to DATV Red. I know if I was to install it and reinstall it, it would come back to life. So I'm not sure whether it's stored some rubbish data in the browser side of things. I don't know. Anyway, on that note, whilst I'm still operational, I'll pass it back to you there, Gary. And I do like the cooling there. It's sort of a bit like the sort of thing I did in the garage, but probably a bit better. I'll put a test card and it's all yours from GHKOE.
Hello, Martin. Yeah, nice to see you. We did hear everything you said. We did hear a nice signal, but no video, I'm afraid. These things happen. Yeah, I've got an i9 something processor. It's supposed to be quite fast, but with the processing that we're running on lib265, it's running about 76% of the whole processor. So it's quite hot. Just want to see. At the moment, I've got video 79%, 78%. And that's where I want it. So, yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Anyway, I think I'll make this my final and also then close the net. But it can continue for those that wish to. I want to thank everyone for coming up today. I've got a visitor here in the shack, so I want to spend some time with young Leslie. He's been taking some lovely photographs outside, and I'm keen to see what he's done. I'm just trying to get this. Let me just see where I am. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm quite keen to get his videos on the screen here, so then I can't do DATV. But yeah, with that, I'll say 7-3. Ed, that was just to recap. Ed, that was a great over. Leon had to run. He said he's not coming back. And yeah, I've just, at 1 o'clock in the morning, on Saturday morning, our electricity went down on the one factory, actually both factories. And just recently I put in a massive generator and it sprang to life and it worked. But it used a hell of a lot of diesel. In 10 hours, I think it ran through about 15,000 Rand, so sort of around about 750, 800 euro worth of diesel. So, but no, yeah. And then I told them today to rather switch it off and use a smaller generator just to keep some lights on. But I've just heard that they have stolen the cables for the third time in a few months. You know, these bloody missing links that we've got here, stealing the cables and just wrecking the place, bringing it down to nothing. Anyway, so now can you imagine how long we'll be out before they get new cable, put that in. In the meantime, I've got to supply BMW with a lot of parts per day, and we cannot even have one day. Even Sundays we're working at the moment to get ahead of production so that we have a buffer in case something like this happens. Now it's happened before the buffer is totally in place. So that's another headache I've got to face tomorrow. Luckily, I let them off this afternoon, and then tomorrow we'll go and put some more diesel in, and hopefully we can get the generator started and at least run that way until they get the cable. But my other factory that makes mine equipment, that's standing, and we've even decided to go over to a night shift for a while to catch up. They've placed big orders but very tight lead times. So yeah, these things happen. Anyway, Ed, yeah, nice over. And yeah, sorry I couldn't help you with more info than what you asked for on that the ride, But that's what I'm using this end, and then I'm just streaming using a computer onto the network and onto YouTube, and it works quite well. The quality is quite good on YouTube. Phil, okay, great on the fiber. I'm pleased for you. It worked so smoothly and seamlessly. That's the way things should happen in a educated and first world country. But I must say, when we had ours put in, wasn't too bad either. So, and I've got 500 meg up and 500 meg down. So it's quite a fast line. Anyway, Peter, excellent signal, nice audio today, and also brilliant video. So 10 out of 10. And Benno, yeah, always busy, and see on the driver there. Good work as usual. You keeping the system going on this net, I can tell you. And Martin, we have said, and Paul, once again, sad that your dad had to go, but it's a blessing indeed that he had all his faculties and he was quite alive and awake rather than right to the end. And I'm pleased that he could also watch DATV, of course, to see his son, no doubt. And I wonder what the comments were about the rest of the net. Anyway, all good fun. With that, I'm going to pass it to Ed, if you wouldn't mind closing the net eventually. Ed, I've got to run. Thanks for coming up, for everyone. Papa Yankee, no, but Ed said he's also running, I think. And so did Phil. Oh, my goodness. So, but let's try. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Perhaps you have a few more comments to say. ZA6 Yankee India signing. Bidding everyone a happy week. See you next week.
Yes, thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'm still here. 1, 2, audio. Okay, yeah, audio okay. All right. Sorry to hear about the power outage. Maybe you're going to be a potential customer of Rock's turbine. I'm following, by distance their project, and it's a very interesting and very economical turbine to generate electricity. So keep in touch with him. So when the turbine is ready, maybe you can test there. Very nice net. I'm gonna be quick, just to thanks everyone. I'm not sure if Phil is still there, but glad to hear that fiber working fine. As I also have fiber here, and yeah, it's great. It's great. And Peter's BZY 2 microphones. I couldn't notice any difference. It sounds like just one. Benno, thank you very much for showing the Android remote control. I'm gonna test it later. I didn't get time. I do have some old cell phones around, and yeah, I'm gonna install it and test with Ride. It's good. Regarding the screen with Langston, that's a pity. I think it's a great roadblock, not just for me, but for many others, not using Langston, because it's great, as you showed us. I mean, it would be great. Do something like you did, and make like portable station or even a base station, multi-band. That's great, but this screen limitation, it's huge roadblock. I don't understand why. I mean, open, the other software. I always confuse those names, but the DATV software works fine with the touch, with the normal touch screen, and it works fine. So I think it's possible to do. I mean, all right. And Martin, I copied you in your first transmission. I just had to retune you. You freeze 2 times, but I just click it over your signal again, and it start decoding, no problem. But there were 2 freezes, but I copied your first transmission, not a problem. And also Martin, I just found the issue with the DATV Red. Actually, it had nothing to do with the version. Actually, I'm running the newer one, 4.94. The problem is, I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know, browser issue, Windows update issue, or anything. It changed the audio configuration. It changed from my configuration to the default configuration, which is, I think, is VB cable something. You know, for some reason it changed, and it wouldn't start encoding without the proper audio configuration. So as soon as I found it, I just you know, reconfigured to the correct audio output, which I'm using here, and it started working fine, not a problem. Yeah, that's the news about the DATV Red. Paul, first of all, sorry about your loss. My condolences. And good to know some news there. Winter Hill, glad to know that you assemble and you like it. Probably it's going to be my next project. I'm very happy with the Pico tuner, working flawlessly. I mean, working very fine, Pico tuner. And maybe the next one's going to be Winter Hill. Nice to see your PA there, and you found a problem. And I think that's it. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Passing to, I don't know if Phil's still there, Mike 0 Papa India Tango. If not, going to Golf Whisk 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee. This is Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November.
Yeah, we're working. Yep, I'm still here. Yeah, great net as always. A couple of comments. Paul, yeah, sorry to hear about your father. But at least that he had all his faculties there at the end. Same with my mum. The body had packed up, but she still had her memories, which was good. You mentioned the pi hole. Yeah, that's my DNS. My internal DNS is a pi hole. Absolutely brilliant. It's been running now probably for about 5 years. It's running on an old Raspberry Pi 3, I think. It just works, and it just runs. It just sits there and it does the job. So yeah, it's a pi hole. Yeah, it works great. Gary, yeah, your CPU, etc. Yeah, makes me wonder what on earth is going on in the background on some of these machines. I mean, mine is it's not new. It's my transmit is AMD. Is it Ryzen 5? I think they call it Ryzen, something like that. 5. My utilization with video, as it is now, it's peaking at about, I think it's about 40. It's about 40%, but the average load is about 4. And yeah, it just makes me wonder what all these machines are doing in the background. There's been a lot of talk about phones, etc. Obviously, it started by me, but there's been quite a bit of discussion about phones, etc. But I can remember all those years ago when mobile phone technology just started to be seen. We used to have these great big bricks that people used to carry around. But you would pull up to the traffic lights, and along beside you is a young chap there. And he'd get his mobile phone out, and he would sit at the traffic lights looking at you, talking on his mobile phone, you know. Look what I've got, no one has got any of these. And he would sit there really smug. And I would sit there, and what I always wanted to do, I never did it, but I always wanted to do it, was this. Put this on the dashboard of the car, pick it up. Oh, you can't see it, what's going on, here we go. Pick it up like that, dial a number, just like that, and then look at him and have a conversation. Always wanted to do that, but there you go. That's one of my prized possessions. It's an original, they call it pyramid telephone. It's absolutely immaculate. It's probably worth a few bob, but I'll never sell it. And it fully works. And yeah, it's my old telephone. But yeah, I'd love to do. I'd love to have done that, just to say you might have that. Look what I've got, you know. But there you go. Right, that's enough of me. Who's next on the list? Peter. So if Peter's still there, I shall hand it over to him. If not, hopefully Benno will pick it up. So put up.
Okay, it seems that Benno and Martin have gone. And that can happen, of course. No problem. Okay, yeah. It was great, Phil, to see your old phone. And even there is an ancient video where this is shown in reality. That someone is calling from the car using this special dialer. Okay, first of all, thanks to all for your condolences regarding to my father. That's really great. We had an excellent net. Also, thanks for that. As always, I learn a lot. Yeah, thinking about Gary and the theft of the cables to his factory and to the generator. Actually, that happens a lot also in the Netherlands, especially Dutch railways are suffering from that. Copper cables and also aluminium cables are stolen. And that really is a pity, of course. Yeah, there was one thing that I still intended to mention because you were talking about fiber, Phil. Not so long ago, I was a visitor at a Chinese supplier, and they also do supply fiber for in-home. Yeah, actually, I have to say, it was wonderful what they had shown. So that means that you get a router, not with Ethernet connectors, but just with connectors to connect an internal fiber in the home. And the really tiny fibers can actually be placed everywhere because you almost don't see them. So you could even glow them behind the wallpaper if you want. Really wonderful, and that means that also in the home you can go up to bandwidth of 10 gigabits per second. And that, that's great, of course. I can only dream about it. Well, gentlemen, and perhaps watching the net over YouTube, also ladies, thanks a lot for watching, and yeah, hopefully we will meet soon again. Well, anyone who's still available can take the camera and the microphone.